This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Hello, 313. Hello, Michigan. And if you're listening from outside the state of Michigan, I welcome you. I thank you for listening to episode number 17 of Travel Basketball with Gus Weaver. I am your host. Please follow me on Twitter at 313lifebrand. Follow my public figure page on Facebook, Gus Weaver from the 313. This is an original format show, something that hasn't been done around these parts at least. And we focus strictly on travel basketball, AAU style basketball here in the state of Michigan. We do venture beyond Michigan and talk about things that's happening in other states, primarily right here in the Midwest. Unless we have a couple of teams competing out of state, from the state of Michigan, we'll also talk about, whomever those teams might be during that particular weekend coming up, or, the previous weekend. Something that we've been sticking to for the most part is giving you a preview of something big upcoming, whether it be a tournament or a league. Sometimes we talk about these Gus Macker events, if they're loaded with AAU caliber talent. And it's a pleasure for me to do this. We are slowly but surely growing this audience. Like I said, this is episode number 17, and we're getting followers. We're getting people interested. The interviews that I provide the listeners with range from all over the country, from the South to right here in the Midwest and beyond. That's something that I like to do, is bring you guys a special guest interview so you can get a little bit of insight on what goes on in the travel basketball world, a little bit of the behind the scenes action. We've had coaches, we've had, directors, we've had parents. So, they all give you a different point of view in terms of what they go through on a daily basis. Some of these directors, what they do is through the roof, and you would have no clue if we weren't bringing you that original content right here on the Gus Weaver podcast. This is only heard on the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. I really thank those guys for the platform. I think we got a good relationship that we're building, and it's certainly worth it. Something that we like to talk about, and I mentioned on previous shows, was these two fall leagues coming up. If you have a young team, an established team, a veteran team, it doesn't matter. Two big-time fall leagues coming up right here in the state of Michigan, one in Saline, one in Livonia. And we have the pleasure today to speak with one of the directors from one of those programs. So stay tuned for a big-time interview tonight. Something else that I like to do is I like to ask you guys when I promo the show, when I preview the show on social media, I ask you guys if you got something hot going on right now, if you're a part of a program, if you're a director, you're a coach, even if you're a parent of a kid that's on a hot streak right now, please drop a name, send it to my inbox on either of the social site platforms, and I'd be happy to give those guys a shout out. Every show we end it with the shout out portion, which is sometimes my favorite because it gives me a chance to mention some names that people don't know about, or mention hard work being recognized, whether it be a shout out from a big media company or whatever. If you're on a good winning streak, or if you're on your way to a big tournament, please let me know. I'll give you guys a shout out right here on this program. As I mentioned, a big guest tonight, so I don't really want to move forward anymore until I introduce this guy. My guest for this week on episode 17, as I mentioned, very pivotal in the upcoming Warriors Playmakers League, will be held in Livonia. Let me introduce a guy that's got 19 years in the game, president of the Michigan Warriors, Mr. Rocky Black. Rocky, thank you so much for being a part of this show.
Oh yeah, no problem, Gus.
Now you got so much time in the game. I'm sure you've seen some changes in terms of AAU style travel basketball from the time you started until now. Can you briefly, just go over the history in terms of how it used to be and how it is now?
Man, well, for the good side of things is it's grown tremendously. Even when I played the game, it was like one state tournament and a couple tournaments here and there, and now it's only so many teams. That's actually when I played. To now, thousands and thousands of teams. Plus, when I started coaching and started the program, it was more tournaments than when I used to play the game, but it's grown tremendously since then. There's pros and cons to it. One of the biggest things is the same way I started this program is to give back the way that was given to me, because I didn't have a father growing up and lived in the ghetto, and wouldn't change nothing in the world for it, but I came through poverty, and people have to help me out. So my mom raising 4 kids on her own, so that was the main reason why I started this, and getting to where I am today. I never had plans for that. It's just like, when we go into business, it's like, I'm also producing the movie business. You have goals, you have plans. Well, with the basketball stuff, I never really had plans on how big I wanted to be, or I just wanted to help some kids, play the game they love to play, help train them, and hopefully one day get them on to college, get them some type of scholarship, but for the most part, to bring them together and become good, citizens, good men in life, in their adulthood. So, as far as they would be, from then to now, on a positive note, just the growth of it all. I mean, so many more players are playing, so many more players are getting exposure. So many tournaments out there, so many options for players to be able to play with different teams. Everyone, like I tell our parents, I tell our kids, every coach ain't for every kid ain't for every coach, or every program, vice versa. So yeah. I love the fact that there's so many people out there doing it, and the ones that are doing it for the right reason, I really salute them big time,
That's nice, man. I commend you once again, as I do so many of my guests, that's doing it for the right reasons, and it's something that you providing kids with memories that they'll never forget. You are instilling, a teamwork aspect. You teaching them how to become, adult men, and I know that's a great feeling, considering you've been in so long that you've actually been able to see some of these guys grow and turn into these young adults and, productive adults at that. Whereas, a program similar, like my situation, we're a brand new program, and I'm excited to see that out of the young men that I have. And, it's just something that I'm looking forward to. And once again, I commend you for doing that. You're kind of a pioneer, man. 19 years in the game is a very long time. And,
thanks.
I mean, you guys are doing big things right now. I know you mentioned the movie business. You guys, I think it's a documentary that's coming out, correct?
Actually, it's a movie.
It's a flat-out movie.
And that's the thing is, it's the first movie. So it's the first ever movie done of an AAU, basketball program. It's been documentaries, like you just said. Mm-hmm. But and that's what a lot of people think when it comes to basketball. They see, so many documentaries. That's the first thing they think is like, hey, you're doing a documentary, but it's actually a movie. It's like always give people reference to Coach Carter or Blindside.
Right.
It's between those type of movies. And I love the fact that it's faith-based, it's inspirational, it's a PG movie, so we just had the premiere here. Had over 1,100 people there, and just to respond, sitting in the theater, when you do the movie, you hope that, like, I was really satisfied with the outcome. I'm very critical on stuff that we do. I'm very happy, but I also know that I need to see how the people are going to respond. So to sit there in the theater with that many people and watch them laugh and watch them cry, I'm talking about not only women, I'm talking about men crying because it takes you on a roller coaster ride of that's what my program about is. And the good thing I like is, some people like, this Warrior, Warriors did a movie about their program. And when they see it, they're going to say, dang, that's my program.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm preaching to people, like, you know, because you know how it is. I don't like because I don't like to use the stuff, the hating game and stuff, but we know that that's part of it. It happens. It's a lot of hate and stuff going on. Like people seeing you do something good, just like programs doing. Like I see the Hot Boys come out. Hey, I'm happy to see what's going on. I'm watching you guys. I love it. I'm not gonna hate on you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I love to see men doing stuff with young kids and doing stuff positive, you know, to help our youth out. So I'm always like, you know, even people that's been in my program, like, oh man, like, you know, you get too friendly with this organization. I mean, that's, I don't care. Like, I mean, if it's, I use the model of it's in God's plans, whatever I do, it's going to happen. So I can't hate on what the Hot Boys are doing. They're going to win championships. So if they getting boys into college, I got to salute them. I can't hate on them because that's what we're in this for.
Right.
And I treat my company like a regular company, a movie company. I don't try to compete against the next person out there. It's pretty much how they got that saying, do you, we do us, and do the best we can do, and hoping that, you know, it will show in the long run, you know. And so, like I said, with this program, it's totally different than like the movie business or other, you know, business ventures or something, because I don't do this for the money. I don't do this for the glory of myself. And, you know, people say, man, you know, like, if, you know, like you say, you've been in the game 19 years, and people say, you guys are really big. I don't never really look at it like that. I look at it as, it's just a movement. It's just, you know, that basketball was the vessel that God brought together, and then it's something's got to bring it together, and then it's what you get out of it. And what I like is the letters I still have in my files of kids that are 33 years old now. That's my oldest group, 33 years old, telling me the life-changing stories that me or my other staff helped, you know, them to get to where they are today. That's the type of stuff that's tear-jerkers. That's like, wow, man, that just make me sit back and say, that's what I do with God, you know. So that's the type of stuff that that's the drive, the drilling, you know, the glory I get out of this is to see how productive, how these young men are going on to be, you know, good kids, good men in life. You know,
that's definitely. I was just gonna say, man, that's definitely good words of wisdom, coming from somebody that has been in the game for as long as you have, and you know, definitely a key to your success. And maybe, you know, some of the guys that listen to the show are young directors of programs that's just starting out. So I just wanted to point that out. You know, I'm learning a lot talking to you, Rocky, right now for the first time, and you know, I just wanted to point that out.
Thanks, man. And you know, back to the movie thing. Cause, man, I'm sorry. I love to talk, especially when it's something I'm passionate about. So, I don't mind sharing info or talking about things, because I think that me, you, and everyone else is a living testimony. That's the way I live life. And so if I can share stuff that I've been through, good or bad, to help someone else out, that's what I do, you know. So the thing with the movie, I'm saying, going back to the movie, is, you know, it's representing 90% of the programs out there. I'm thinking it's around 90% across the world, because that 10% is the ones who's, and it could be higher now, it's getting higher, ulterior motives, reasons why they're doing it besides, you know, for the youth. And I'm not even talking about if people do it to make money or something. I'm not even talking about that, because, like I tell people, if you do that, well, heck, I can take my daughter to a piano lesson. I got to pay for 20 sessions. That person is professional at that. So if you doing a program, if you making money off that, but you providing a good service for these kids, I ain't mad at you. I'm still saluting you for that. So it ain't even, because also people worry about, you know, money people make and stuff like that. I don't worry about that type of stuff. It's like, what is your program doing? What is it? What kind of light is it shedding on the youth? You know what I'm saying? That's more or less what I look at. So, like, with the movie, that's what it represents, and it takes you on a roller coaster ride, like, about the how this coach gets these young men together, and they come from different walks of life. I mean, the three main characters, one's got a mama, no dad. They don't have she doesn't have the best job. She doesn't really care about him like that. She treats him wrong, and he catches on to a coach that really cares about him and thinks he's got something good going for his life. You got another player whose dad thinks he's all world. It's nothing about him but the team. I mean, nothing about the team, but it's all about him.
Yeah.
And then you got the player that single mom, hanging around the wrong people. Mom, like, I know he's a good kid. He could do what he needs to get around the right environment, and we take him in. And he goes on to do great things, not with just basketball, but in life. And this same kid today is making six figures playing pro ball and can talk, to the president or whoever.
Right.
And where he came, from a poverty-stricken family and was doing bad, getting in trouble. So that's what the movie's about, and it just tells a story. And, like I said, the feedback we're getting is, really good from people, about, the moral to the story and stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I need to see that movie. Can you tell myself and the listeners, what's the name of the movie? Where can they see it at? How can they get their eyes on it?
Yeah. So it's called Warrior Pride, and right now it's going through distribution. That was just red carpet premiere. We have which it's in LA. We have another red carpet premiere November 10th in LA. Then we have one in New York. But as far as like worldwide, it won't be out to probably like sometime next year because it's going through distribution right now. Not to say there's a possibility. Potentially, I could do another screening here. That just on the business end depends on what distribution I go with and everything. But as far as right now, no one can see it until it comes out. Through distribution, or if we do, another screening here, and that would definitely be out. If we did something like that, we definitely would let everyone know, and I'd be more than happy to come back on and, talk to you about it and let people know, so you can share it with, with your audience. But yeah, so right now it's just, they can check out the trailer if they haven't seen the trailer yet. It's on YouTube, Warrior Pride, the movie. There's two trailers. It's a short version and a longer version, so they can see that. But right now we're in the waiting game of it coming out. And normally, it could take anywhere between 6 months to a year, because that's the part of the business sale, distribution, the route they go with it, because, we hope that it goes theatrical worldwide. If it don't, it could go like, either straight to DVD, or may go to Netflix. Like the movie Amateur. Have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't. That's on Netflix,
Okay,
I take it?
Yeah, Amateur is on Netflix. Amateur was a really, it's a very solid movie, but for us, people like us that know the game, it's about a father who sold his son to a prep school, and you and I both know that's happening right now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And the kid from Power is in it, and then, my girl, oh my gosh, Brian White's in it, and then I can't even think of her name right now, but another known actress.
I'm gonna have to check that movie out.
Yeah, check it out, man, because it's like I said, it doesn't have a lot of highs and lows in it, but it tells a story, so it's a good story. It's definitely worth watching, especially to the basketball world. It's definitely worth watching.
So y'all, you heard it here first. Warrior Pride on YouTube. They already had a premiere here. Coming up, LA, New York premieres. So, check it out. If nothing else, go on YouTube and watch that video. I know I'll be going on there and checking out the trailer tonight.
Thank you.
You guys got a big time fall league coming up. Partner with the Michigan Playmakers. Obviously I got two teams. Both of my squads are in it. Class 24, class 25. Can Can you briefly talk about how long you've been doing the league and some of the teams that's included that's participating in the league this year?
Yeah, this is our third year for it, and it's grown tremendously. I mean, we have close to 70 teams in it, and so we have fifth grade through eighth grade, and then we have JV and varsity. So at the high school level, it's JV and varsity. As far as like it's a rec league, it's all as far as like it's played as a rec league. So every kid can enjoy it and play it, but it's very competitive. And it's just to keep the kids playing. Especially at every level, it keeps them playing. And when we used to go, like I remember we used to go March to July. Then we started going January to July. Now we're starting to go 10 months out the year, because only break we from our organization we have now is like really like after the league, really like a month and a half, because we start practicing in December.
Right.
They have tryouts in November, so it allows people to go more year round and get these kids playing organized basketball, because that's another thing. Man, nowadays, I mean, heck, man, me and you could do a whole segment on parents and players, and that's why I stopped coaching, because it's bad enough having to deal with. And I'm not trying to just knock parents, so it ain't every parent.
Rocky,
and it's getting worse.
We've talked about that, on some of my previous shows with, a handful of people, interviews, guests, and it's out of control, man. Some of the parental behavior that's displayed is, in my opinion, it's the total opposite of the example that you want to set as a parent. And that's something that, like you said, we could talk about that all night. But it's definitely, I mean, parental support is great, but that little 1%, that 1% kind of messes it up for everybody. In terms of your league, what's some of the big hitters that's participating this year, team wise?
Well, the thing is, at the high school level, it's a lot of high school kids. I can put it that way. It's a lot of high school kids from high schools that are playing in it, and even like I'll talk about that more to you personally. But what I would say, is that it's a lot of high school kids and programs that are in it. And then at the younger age groups, man, let me see. Wendell, I think I have some of our list. Wendell keeps track of the teams. He keeps the list for me. We both have things that we have to do. Because we both do it together.
Right, to make it go smooth, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, as I'm thinking about it, it's anywhere from, the Hot Boys, the Reach, the Warriors, Playmakers, AAVA, which is really big on the come up. Yes, they are.
And I think they're actually changing their name this year to more of a national name. Maximum Skills, MWA. This is definitely at the younger age groups.
That's a solid lineup, man.
Yeah, and that's just to name a few. I can't even.
Right.
Like I said, he has the list. My apologies about that. He has the
cool.
list. But that's some of the teams I can think of.
I can't wait to to actually be there, man. Anytime the fall leagues come around, it seems like it's been forever since the last one. So, me and my guys are hyped about it. The parents are excited. We're really looking forward to it, because it's a beautiful thing, man. Both of those gyms are packed, every weekend, and the parking lot is full. It's a big deal on Saturdays in the fall around
good
here.
Environment, and what I like too is that, I like the fact that we're starting to get more people involved. It's just like you doing podcasts. For me, I don't know if you know, I was doing Facebook Live.
Right.
And I probably would start it back up, but I did probably around 4 or 5 shows back in I think October, November, and then with the movie just getting so busy, it was in post-production, and it took up a lot of time. So, the people that did key in on it really liked it. Because, we had different programs on there. That's something that if I do it again, I definitely want you on there. And we do it with the through Facebook Live, and so everybody can see it, and they actually see us talking.
Right, see it, comment on it.
With different topics.
Yep, I do something similar. I have been. This will be my 4th year doing it during the NFL season. It's totally NFL centered, based on a contest that my brand 313 Life. We award winners with hoodies. All through the NFL season, and it's based on that and a Facebook Live show every Sunday. And the people that participate, they look forward to it. It's a fun video, So I feel you on the Facebook Live thing. It definitely is different from a podcast in terms of the audience. A podcast is something that you got to shut up and listen to, whereas Facebook Live is more interactive. You can type in comments and actually have a conversation piece on it.
Yeah, I like them both.
So.
I like whatever the broadcast. That's the thing. Like with the league, we'll have more, people like you and the scouts and stuff that come out. There's more people doing videos.
Right.
I mean, I can't even. They know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, when
in the building to check out the kids, you got now with one boy starting up the youth thing. You probably know Keith Wade, Hardwoods.
Yep.
Hardwoods, he's starting up that stuff. So they'll all be in the building checking out, from the youth on up to high school. So definitely, the league is growing. I remember the first year, man, 21 teams, 20 teams.
Dang.
And now we're up there, we have to actually cap it. We have, today me and Wendell was talking, I think there's 9 teams on the waiting list. And we have, I think it's 66 or 67 teams.
Wow.
So we had to cap it, because, we're trying to keep that one site, but I know it's going to continue to grow. More teams will want to get in, It's just like my tournament. I try to keep everything now because it's so big. I try to keep everything in like a 12 minute, it's no more than 15 minutes. Some of these tournaments, it'd be so big, they have you driving 20, 30, 40 minutes away. I can't do that.
Right. I understand that.
Nice
I understand that, man. And that Jam Fest tournament that you guys had, my guys will be back for the next one to hopefully defend our championship crown in that tournament.
Yeah.
That's another big one that y'all have. I think that was some first class talent there at that tournament in terms of, from the state of Michigan. And, that's something else to the listeners. Big time tournament that these guys have, the Jam Fest tournament, held each and every year.
Thank you.
Rocky, before I let you go, can you tell the people where to follow you guys on social media to keep up with you?
Yes. As far as with the Warriors, on Facebook, we have a Michigan Warriors basketball account. On Twitter, it's MI Warriors. And then on Instagram, as far as the movie Warrior Pride, the movie on Instagram. And then I also have my own account too. But as far as with the program, yes, it's on Twitter. I'm big on Twitter with the program and Facebook. So on Facebook, Michigan Warriors. On Twitter, MI Warriors. And then, like I said, as far as the movie, people can follow us on Instagram on Warrior Pride, the movie. So, and our tournament, the big tournament in May, it's always the first weekend in May, and I also do 2 winter tournaments, one February 16th and one March 16th. So,
got you, man. I know. I appreciate the talk. I'm sure the listeners, I'm sure people listening learned a lot. So, Rocky, once again, I thank you for coming on, man. And I'll be seeing you soon because I'll be there firsthand, checking out the league.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks a lot, man. I'll talk to you soon, guys.
No doubt. Thanks, man.
All right, take care.
Mr. Rocky Black straight up blazing trails in the travel basketball world. They actually have a movie that's out already in terms of, red carpet, screenings of it. Once again, like you said, 6 months to a year, we'll all be able to go to this, and hopefully it's on a silver screen. So big shout out once again to Rocky Black, president of Michigan Warriors, long time in the game of travel basketball. I thank him again for coming on. Shout out list short this week. It is a slow season in terms of AAU basketball, travel basketball. A few things going on every weekend here and there, but nothing like what we usually discuss. And we're using this time during the slow season to bring you quality interviews that are a little bit longer than normal, so you guys can really get a feel for what some of these guys have to do to make things work and work smoothly. And once again, thanks to Rocky Black. Shout outs. Obviously, go and check out the Warrior Pride trailer on YouTube, and hopefully that thing comes around again. Like he said, they're considering having another screening here in Michigan. So big shout out to Warrior Pride, the movie. Check out the trailer on YouTube. Once again, the Hot Boys. Last time we talked on this show, I told you how the Hot Boys were in another Gus Macker. They won that Gus Macker. They end up winning 6 out of 7. That was supposed to be their last competitive Gus Macker of the season, but the parents love it so much they're going back again this weekend. Wishing the best of luck to my 313 Hot Boys competing in another Gus Macker. Next up, once again, Middle School Hoops TV camp coming up very soon. Next weekend in Indiana, the great state of Indiana. We will be there firsthand to cover some of the best, youth basketball players that this country, especially the Midwest, has to offer. The camp will be packed. There's full of media companies there. A big shout out to the Mish TV camp coming up very soon. I also want to shout out my own Facebook group. We just talked about it briefly during the interview. The name of the group is the 313 Life Who You Got Pick'em Challenge. It's strictly an NFL group. If you guys are into football or not, it's a good group to be a part of to have a chance to win up to 4 custom 313 Life hoodies during the NFL season. Please check it out on Facebook. It's a Facebook contest, and it's all centered from the Facebook group 313 Life Who You Got Pick'em Challenge. I'm your host, Gus Weaver. You just listened to episode number 17. Thank you again. Check it out, Detroit Sports Podcast Network.